What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have a new deck profile. This time we're looking at 60 card Blackwings. I almost never build decks that are like 60 cards, but I think in this deck it makes a lot of sense for the things I'm trying to play in here. And I'm pretty proud of this one. I mean, Blackwings have kind of evolved into like a combo deck, and I don't really consider myself a combo player, but I do think I built a pretty good list, all things considered, for this Blackwing deck, and we'll be going through all of that in just a minute. So, before we get into it, this mat, it's clean. It has Mechanized Orcus Gearsu on this side, Crusadia Equimax on the other side. It's a two-sided, two-player mat, which is very awesome. I'll leave a link in the description to it if you want to pick it up. Also, there's a just 10 for a code down below that'll get you 10% off your purchase. Pretty cool. Just something to note there. If you want it, pick it up. If not, no big deal. Let's get into this deck profile. The plug is done, all right? All right, so starting off with the monsters, you got to start off with the Blackwing stuff. 3 copies of Simoom, the Poison Wind. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Some people don't like playing Simoom, but I think he's just like the most powerful card in like the entire main deck, period. Like opening him in a Blackwing is just so insane. Without your normal summon, he's a +2, which is just insane. I know he locks you into darks from the extra deck, but you know what? That's something I can live with because he allows you to play through disruption, making the deck more resilient, while at the same time making your ceiling higher as well. So 3 Simoom, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Next up, I've got, for the non-extender Blackwings, we have, well, I guess they're sort of extenders, but in their own way, 3 copies of Blackwing Oster, the South Wind, and 1 copy of Zephyros, the Elite. Still extenders, actually, in their own right, but not like the same way the other ones work. So this is really great. This one will special back a banished level 4 Lord Blackwing. So you banish something off of Simoom, play the Black Whirlwind, search the Oster off of the Black Whirlwind search, and then you can normal it to special back the one you banish. So very, very good, and it's a level 4 tuner, which is very nice. Level 4s are very important in this deck. We'll get to that later. And then Zephyros, he's a combo piece. I've seen people want to play more than one of him, but I'm still a fan of just the 1 copy, to be honest. So I'm playing 1. You can play more if you want. That's up to you. But he's a hard once per dual effect. So once you use him, he's really just a level 4 body at that point, and you're just normal summoning him usually. So not that big a deal. And then for like the actual extender ones, 3 copies of Zephyros, Gust the Backblast. This is a really cool card. So this guy essentially like functionally works the same way that like Red Layer works in Infernoble Knights. He's a way to just put not just a Darkwing Beast on the field, but a Blackwing Darkwing Beast on the field without using your normal. He just says if you have no cards, special him to the field. Very, very nice, very easy, very simple. And he's still 900, so if you have Black Whirlwind, you can normal him to search, I think, 3? I think we're playing 3 different targets for him. It's not half bad, so still get a search off and still extend. But he's really nice, and he just allows you to not lose to your normal summon getting disrupted, because that's been a big, big problem for Blackwings for a long time, because they all need to have a Blackwing to jump out of the hand. So if your opponent just has something like remove your normal summon, this guy just jumps on the field, which is very, very nice. All right, and then for all the extender boys, the basic ones, right? You have 3 copies of Chris the Crackadon. Oh, that lighting's kind of terrible. Can't even see him at all. Oh my. Can we get brighter? A little bit. Okay. There we go. It's a little brighter. 3 Chris the Crackadon. It's a gold rare. That's why it looks kind of weird in the lighting. 3 copies of Bora the Spear. This one's amazing because it's not once per turn. So I think only 2 of them are like non-once per turns for their special summon effects. 3 Gale the Whirlwind. This is the other non-once per turn. So both of these can just go boop, boop, boop. You could have 5 of them in your hand. Just go boop, 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 boop. All of them. Gale also has a really cool effect to just target, non-target, just cut in half a monster your opponent controls. Oh, no, it does target. It does target, my bad. And just cut it in half. That's a permanent cut in half, which is really clean. And only a soft once per turn. Then here, 3 Harmattan. This is supposed to be a 3rd Harmattan. For some reason, I only have 2 and not a 3rd. So Gladius is just a 3rd Harmattan. Keep that in mind. This guy's really cool. When he's summoned, he gets to add to his level up to with the level of a monster already on the field, a Blackwing. So you summon him and you just add something else's level to his, which is really good with Oster because it's a level 4 tuner. So that's a level 4 tuner. You summon him, make his level 6 by adding the 4 levels to him, and then right there you can go into the full Armor Master, which is very, very strong. And then 3 Orochi the Squall, or 2 Orochi the Squall, my bad. He's only important mainly because he's 400 attack, so he's the smallest one. So off of Black Whirlwind, you can search him like no matter what, essentially. Normal summoning any weak Blackwing. I mean, you could normal summon Harmattan and still get a way to search him, which is really nice. It actually does come up in certain situations. That's just nice to have. He's another extender, he's a tuner, all that stuff. Keep in mind, guys, the level 4s are the best ones. That's why some people don't max out on Chris, but I am here. Just the level 4 bodies are worth so much in this deck, and we'll get to that more so when we get to the extra deck. Okay, next up, some other sort of extender cards, getting into like more of the Raid Raptor package. We have 3 copies of Raid Raptor Strangleanius and 1 Singing Lanius. These are very important for a couple of reasons, okay? Strangle's just very good because just drawing it in general is just, it's another level 4 extender, and it's a little more generic. All you need is any dark monster on field to summon this, whereas like the Blackwings need specifically a Blackwing, so he's a little more generic, but he does lock you into darks when he summons that way, the same way C Moon does, so just keep an eye out for that. Just be aware that you are going to lock yourself into darks. It only really changes one thing with your end board, that's it, but it can come up to, you do want to do it without being locked into darks most of the time. And then Singing Lanius. This card is just cool to have because, one, he's a hard one for turns. If you already used him as part of your combo, you want to be able to search this. And the other thing is, if you didn't use Simoon to lock yourself into the extra deck, a lot of times you're just going to search Singing Lanius because it has no restrictions in terms of like locking you out of anything. So it's still that level 4 body, same thing as this guy essentially, but this one does not lock you in. So if you're not already locked in, you probably want to grab Singing Lanius first and then go from there. So that is it for the Raid Raptor stuff. Then for some bricks, 2 Phantom Knight cards. You got the Ancient Cloak and the boots. Yeah, it's just Phantom Knight stuff, pretty basic. We're dumping these off of Rusty. We'll get to that later. Then for some hand traps, because I didn't want to play this deck completely without hand traps, and it also helps kind of water the deck down so we don't draw bricks as much, even though these are sort of bricks as far as doing combos, but they're also pretty good at, you know, just being something we can draw going second so we don't auto lose to everything. So here I'm playing 3 copies of Nibiru, 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of DD Crow. These are the only hand traps I play. I'm not playing impermanence. And I know it's only 9 hand traps in a 60 card deck, but this deck really can have consistency problems. Right now, my hands are pretty good about like 8-ish times out of 10. So like it's about an 80% like good hand ratio, and that's, I think I'm pretty satisfied with that at the moment. You could drop these and it would probably increase consistency a little bit. That's up to you. But a couple things here. Nibiru is just super high ceiling. If you're in like the combo mirror, I wanted something like high ceiling like Nibiru to potentially draw, handle that. Ash is just generically good versus everything. It hits every single deck in the game. Fine. And then Crow. Crow just is like kind of specific because it's a dark, so it works with like Allure of Darkness. Could be a potential target to make like save a hand that way, as well as it's a Darkwing Beast. Worst case scenario, if I open this with like Strangle Lanius that just needs a dark monster on field, I could go normal DD Crow, special Strangle, and still get into the Y-Strix. So it can come up. I like it because it has synergy there. And I think it's a decent hand trap in the format at the moment. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty good. And so I'm trying it out for now. It's a 3 of in a 60 card deck, so you're not going to see it too much. But it is nice to have, and I'm just trying it out. So that is it for the hand traps. And then we get to the spells. So for the spells, we have some 3-ofs here. 3 Black Whirlwind, obviously, don't need to explain that. 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, don't need to explain that. And a weird one, 3 copies of Pot of Desires. Now, you might be looking at this one and saying, yo, what is this dude on right now? This dude's crazy. But yeah, first off, yeah, I'm crazy. But secondly, Desires is kind of just nasty in the deck. Like, the deck has consistency problems, so the draws off Desires can just save you, as well as it's like a hand trap bait some of the time. Some decks just really fear allowing you to get a +1 right out the gate like that, so they'll Ash it, thinking they have multiple other disruptions, and little do they know the Ash was what was going to stop your turn had they saved it, right? So there's just like certain things like that, and it's just a +1. I know you can banish. You do have some bricks in the deck that you don't want to banish, but this is a cool deck in the fact that all these little packages you're playing, like the Phantom Knights and the like Raid Raptor stuff, as long as you don't banish like exactly like both of your Phantom Knight monsters, the boots and the cloak, you're not really that upset about it. And as far as like, oh, I don't want to draw into them, drawing into them is fine. Like, you don't want to draw into Cloak. Definitely don't want to draw Cloak like ever if you can help it. That's like the biggest brick in the deck. But everything else like is kind of a sort of an extender, right? Like you look at Strangleanius, that's searchable, but that's a 3-of. So like even if you banish the Seeing Lanius, you still have Strangleanius to search off of the Force Strix if you want, right? Seeing Lanius, same thing, as you can just get to the Exceed, boom, he jumps out of the hand, it's fine, sort of an extender. Same with this, if you make Rusty Bardiche, he jumps out of the hand as an extender. So Cloak is really the only really bad one to draw, but also like banishing him is fine because you just send the boots instead. You don't have as high a ceiling as you would otherwise, but I think the +1 and the consistency boost that you get from this is like worth it. And then the whole deck's like a lure. You play like literally like 40 cards out of your 60 card list are like dark monsters, and then Black Whirlwind, like not messing around. You could potentially drop this down if you want to, because just play it to like make Simoon good enough to like help you turbo it out. But we're playing a lot of Blackwing names, so I think playing this at 3 is totally fine. Just allows you to get that search, get that extender that you're looking for. And then for some one-of spells, oh, actually not one-of spells, sorry. Extenders. You know, Monster Reborn. This card's insane. Like I said, this deck can be weak to disrupting the normal summon. So if it's something like, oh, normal summon, Dryad Pop, or Conquistador Pop, boom, Monster Reborn, you're done. Like, there we go. Full combo. Let's go. And this is just 3 fossil, living fossil. I don't know why I put this here, but they're spells, so that's why I just put them in there. 3 living fossil because it's at 3. This is one of those decks where you literally don't care about the effects, you don't care about the stats, you don't care about anything of the monster. You just need the body, right? You need that Darkwing Beast, or you just need a level 4 dark monster, and you're able to go. So as long as you're able to reborn those, these are like insane extenders. I don't draw these nearly as much as I wish I do from playing them, but still, when you do draw them, it feels like crazy. Feels so crazy. Then Foolish Burial. This could be a couple things. In certain hands, you can just dump the Zephyros if you weren't able to get super far, and then just like bounce a Blackwing that you normal summon to then special that Blackwing again, because they had like the extending effect. That can work out pretty well. Or you can send like either Cloak or Boots to get a search for like either Shade Bringing Dean, just the Fog Blade to get extra disruption, or the rank up spell, just kind of to turbo into Requiem, whatever you want. Speaking of the rank ups, we have 1 Soul Shade Force and 1 Phantom Knight's rank up Magic Force. These are insane. This makes VFD or Dragulus. This is going to make Requiem Dragon. They're insane. If I had more space, I'd consider playing more targets for this and then just play more like a second copy of this, because that one's like really, really cool. Like Requiem's insane, man. And then the Call. This is definitely swappable. Like, I don't love drawing this if this could have been an extender, but it can save you in certain situations. It's just a card that's like pretty good in combo decks. So definitely would look to play something else, but I just don't know what else I would play right now that like actually makes sense. And then for the traps, we're on 3 Shade and the 1 Fog Blade. I know what you're saying, like Shade is searchable, but it's also just like an awesome extender at the same time. So I'd rather because the way you do your Phantom Knights combo, you're only able to get access to 2 of the spells and traps. So I'd rather do like, and I'm playing 3 with like the rank up magic, this and this. I'd rather like open this one the hard way and then just get this and the other one, right? And then just pair those together, and like you're gonna end on a pretty nasty board. So just the 1 Fog Blade, you don't really need more than 1. You're not playing a big enough Phantom Knights engine to really grab more than 1 ever. And then Shade's just a great extender, and that's mostly why I'm not playing Impermanence, because of the Shade Brigandine. I just want it to be live as much as possible. I don't really want more conflictions in the deck than what already exists, and you know, go from there. But 60 cards in the main is what it should be. Yeah, it's honestly working pretty good. Like I said, 80-ish% is like when I'm opening like good hands. I mean like good hands, not just like a hand that does combo. I don't even consider that good hand. If it's a good hand that does combo, but 1 hand trap stops it, I'm like, nah, not a good hand. If it's a good hand, if it's a hand that can do combo and play through one interaction, then I'm like, that's a good hand. At least one interaction, right? Okay. Moving to the extra though, 2 copies of Y-Strix. This should be self-explanatory. This is like the Halki Fibrax of the deck. Hint, hint, I'm not playing Halki Fibrax. We have too many cards to lock us into darks, and I don't have space. You'll see as we start going through. So 2 Y-Strix, 1 Rusty Bardiche, self-explanatory for the Phantom Knight stuff. A lot of cool interactions with this, with the new rank up spell being a quick play on your opponent's turn. You can make Requiem under him to get a pop from him. Just pop any card your opponent controls, then have 3 monster negates with Requiem, which is actually insane. IP Masquerena and Unicorn is the only other 2 links I'd play. I am playing. I would consider playing Access Code, although actually I wouldn't play Access Code. I'd consider Borrowsword. The deck, all of the links in your deck are dark, so Access Code will only have 1 pop a turn, which is not that good. So I think Borrowsword might be better as far as raw killing power, but I think the deck's actually fine at killing people. So just 1 and 1. These are just extra disruptions that can be generic that you can make just cause. And then Unicorn also just like mopping up problem cards, mopping up boards at the mid to late game. It's really nice. Then for the Exceeds, we're on 1 Force Strix. Don't really need more than 1. Then to pair with it, you have the Infinity and the Vampiric Dragon, Dragulus. So the idea here is you make this, you search with this, Y-Strix gets you the Soul Shave Force, and then Soul Shave Force will reborn the Raid Raptor after you link it off, the Force Strix, and then you can make either CDI or Dragulus. The only reason we play both is because if we're under the Dark Lock, you have to make Dragulus, which is still a pretty decent card. If not, you make VFD because it's just generically better. It's just an Omni Negate and a Monster Steal if it comes back around. So just generically better, but I mean, you'd ideally want to end on it, but you can't always pick your hand. Sometimes you have to play with either Strangulanius or Simoom, and it is what it is. 1 Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon and 1 Requiem. If you don't want to play this package, it does open up a little bit of space in your extra deck, but I really like this package. Sometimes you're literally in a situation where like all you can do is like you can't even go combo, but you can make a rank 4 and you drew the Phantom Knights card. So sometimes that's just like still 3 monster negates, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take that. That's pretty good. 3 monster negates when I thought my hand was cheeks. That's not the worst thing in the world. 1 Redoer, you have Shade Brigandine, so making him with a trap is actually pretty damn good, and it's an Outer Dragoon. Evil Swarm Nightmare, if you just want a generic good disruption, rank 4, this is it. He's a double Book of Moon on special summoned monsters, which is very good. Not once per turn for his effect. And the last Exceed we play is Zeus. This is just a card that if you play Exceeds, you can make it fairly easily. You probably play this card. Definitely a card that could be cut if you felt like there were more necessary things. And I'm still kind of developing the extra deck, I feel like. But this is here just because it can come up. It's another out to Dragoon if need be. But I'm just trying to see where I'm at with that and then see if he's really necessary. But yeah, he can come up for sure. So if you can play him, you play him, and we'll see as far as the extra deck goes if we're going to need more stuff. And then for the Synchros, I play 1 Borrowload Savage, just equip the Y-Strix once you've linked it off, and then 1 Full Armor Master. Some decks just can't deal with this, so if you can get to like the Harmattan plus the Auster play, which is why we play 3 of each, by the way, with decent draw power in the deck, you know, you can get to him fairly easily, or just you can actually do other levels too to get to that, but it's not all the time going to happen. But it's a nasty card when you summon him. He's like stealing monsters your opponent controls, he's destroying all the monsters your opponent controls, and he's unaffected by everything, so he has to be destroyed by like battle or kaiju or something. So pretty nasty card, definitely keep that in mind. And then Savage is Savage. This is also probably potentially a cuttable card. You can make it sometimes. You usually make it with like Harmattan plus Gale, because Gale is a level 3 tuner. Harmattan like adds its level, becomes a level 5, 3 and 5, get to the 8, and then like equip the Y-Strix, another Omni Negate. So obviously Omni Negates are pretty damn strong. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the extra deck, and I guess pretty much it for the profile as whole. It's a really cool deck, and I really get kind of proud when I make combo decks, because I don't consider myself a huge combo player. So when I really do put together like a original list where I kind of just took some ideas from certain videos and stuff, and everything was like 40 cards, I didn't see a single like 60 card list. I decided to just make it that, because there's a lot of bricks. You don't really want to draw a ton of the Phantom Knight cards. You don't really want to draw the Raid Raptor cards. You don't really want to draw the rank ups. So you're just like, yeah, 60 cards. Blackwings have a ton of just good extenders, so you can just flood the deck with extenders on extenders. It almost gives me like a Dragon Link-esque vibe. Obviously not as good at like playing through Disruption and going second and stuff, but still sets up some nasty boards. If you guys really want to, I can show you like a combo video, maybe do some test hands. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see that, actually, because I actually like doing those videos, but they're a little long and they take a minute to upload. But as long as you guys want them, I'm totally down to do them. And this is definitely the kind of deck that would kind of garner something like that. So let me know in the comment section what you're thinking on that. Also, you guys always know I'm always taking suggestions. I'm just one guy who built this deck all by himself. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for the list, anything else you think I should try. Like I said, I was playing the Called, but it's not a great card. If there was a better extender card I could play, I'd like to play something like that. But there's only so many Darkwing Beasts that are like really good in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I think I'm playing most of those. But that's going to do it for me here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more deck profiles from me in the future. Maybe Forbidden Chalice coming up soon. Maybe some Penguin action. Hint, hint. I got some stuff working. Don't you worry about that. Thanks you again. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. And peace. Peace.